Welcome to the Bonacci Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Bonacci. Today I'm joined by a mixed martial arts veteran who spent 10 years fighting some of the best fighters in the world, but now can be seen on the big screen as both a stuntman and an actor, Mr. Hieron.
Oh, man,
Nice to see you, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. I tried catching.
We came up together.
Yeah. We met in 2007 when I came out here to work at Extreme Couture for Randy.
That's when I first started working with you, and I won my world title then.
You were
International
fighting
Fight League.
IFL, International Fight League, became the world champion there. Yeah. And I think you defended it once, right? Then
and they went under. It's story of my career. Then I went to Affliction. They went under. Then I went, where else? I went somewhere else.
But you had two good wins in
I had 2 good wins in Affliction. No, one good. I had 1 knockout, and then I was getting ready to do my next fight, and they canceled.
They canceled.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if UFC bought them out or they just went under. I don't know.
And then you went to Strikeforce, right?
No, Strikeforce was before Affliction. Then I went to Affliction, and then I think I went to Bellator. Yeah, because I won my world title because I won the tournament in Bellator, and then I fought Askren, and then I think after that I might be getting the time frame wrong. I either went to Affliction, and then I signed my last deal with the UFC.
Well, we could look at my notes here, and Strikeforce was right after the IFL. So you won the world title with the IFL. You moved on to Strikeforce, and you took out Joe Riggs there. That was a big one.
Yeah, that was in Miami. That was cool. Tough guy. I've known him. Nice guy. We hung out. We had a training camp together actually in Salt Lake City with, somebody that was in your field.
Billy Rush.
Billy Rush. Great guy. At what he does, he just had a little crazy side to him too. So it was an interesting camp.
It was interesting that you bring him up because he was one of the first guys that I saw doing what I wanted to do in the sport. Because I would get the magazines, and I was like, wow, this guy's working with all the Militich fighters and different guys, and he was...
Man, and he was good. He had method to his madness. At that time, too, people weren't, the conditioning part of it was, one-dimensional. He kind of, was on it, and it was good. I felt, in shape for that camp,
Yeah.
He's just a wild guy. He had a wild side, so,
I wanted to be, though, when I was in college. I'm serious. He was a guy. It's funny you bring him up. Wow.
Yeah, good dude.
But way ahead on my talking points, but that's totally fine.
Yeah. Fights was good. I knew him, a great photo from that fight. He was coming in for a flying knee, and I hit him with a left hook while he's in the air. It looks like a picture. But the funny thing about that, after the fight, it was back and forth. I had a eye, and I got on the plane to go home. Like a day later, a couple of days in Miami, and my eye was healing. And when I got back on the plane, it swelled back up. When I got off the plane, my eye was shut. So that's something I remember.
That's how you remember Joe Riggs.
Yeah.
The bummer of the Strikeforce era for you was supposed to fight Nick Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember us preparing for Nick Diaz.
Yes.
And for some reason, it just never happened. Yeah. He pulled out. It
was good payday. It was lining up. And I was in, peak performance of my career.
Yeah.
As you remember. Mentally, it was a good time to light. So
it is what it is.
Yeah, what's meant for you won't miss you. That's how I live my life.
Speaking of how you live your life, let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to the early years because you're one of the guys, and I told you this when I contacted you a couple months ago when I decided to do this podcast.
Yeah,
I want to talk to Randy Couture. It had to happen with him, episode 1, and I want to talk to you because I know the cliff notes of your story.
Yeah.
And those are awesome. What you've overcome in your
like
life.
A movie, man.
Exactly. Like the fighting, yeah, that's great and everything. Yeah. But I think the life of Jay Hieron is a lot more interesting than the actual fighting aspect of it.
Yeah.
It all intertwines, but I want to go back to the beginning in Long Island, right?
Long Island, Brooklyn, born in Brooklyn. My guest was going through some stuff at the time, and I was in a great family, though that's the family I know. I was raised with my sisters. Some of them have blonde hair, blue eyes. My mother was a great woman. She adopted kids, took care of them, and raised everybody like their home. I didn't know the difference. And my father at the time that my mother was married to, they ended up great guy too. He raised me till I was about, I don't know, 10 maybe. You know, he was in my life. Good, you know, showed me right from wrong. Good guy, solid. He was into boxing too. That's where I get my name from. Hieronymus was my whole name, Hieronymus,
Yeah.
which I didn't know how to spell it until I was like 10 years old. I'm in school, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? And yeah, he was into boxing. I remember us watching boxing as a kid, WWF. Like, I used to jumping on the pillows and fighting. I had a big imagination. So, you know, good childhood. Ended up divorcing at some point, though. I think around when I was 10, 11, we moved to Freeport. Well, that was in Oceanside. We lived in Oceanside. Like I said, I was born in Brooklyn, Coney Island. Moved to Oceanside with the adopted family when I was a baby. I was early.
Yeah.
8 months, 9 months. So no, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
Is the family that I know. My birth mother going through some stuff in life, you know, as anybody, drugs and stuff, but I remember still knew I would go and stuff. So nothing, you know. Again, when I get older in life, I'm jumping ahead. I guess at some point I'll go back, but you know, again, I just want to say on like that it's out there that, you know, no hard feelings towards her. You know, she do stuff, and she did the best she could.
Right.
So back, they ended up actually divorcing where I'm 10 now, and now we moved to Freeport, a little rougher neighborhood, and I'm a small kid, so you know I'm getting picked on at the time, getting chased home, getting my sneakers stolen. This went on a few years, and my mother's new man, my stepfather, he ain't the best guy. You know, he boozes and stuff. You know, yeah, I got a couple whippings with the belt and stuff, so I'm getting in, you know, because I'm a smaller kid, rougher area now. In the end, you know, if I'm messing up at home, I'm getting the belt, you know. So, you know, came a point, and I always have sisters, right? So, and they'll tell you to this day, they laugh like, I used to pick you up when you used to call me from 7-Eleven. They're chasing me, come pick me up. So now you're a big bad fighter. So it's funny that how, you know, what happens in life. So yeah, so mentality at that point, I was about to go to high school, and you know, this is moving on 10, you know, 13, 14, yeah, about 14. And I just had I'm like, I'm done getting picked on. I remember that mental change I had in my head, like this has got to stop, and you know, I can't really go to anybody, so I know I have to learn something, or art, something to defend myself. Sister's boyfriend at the time took me to a boxing gym. He was into boxing, and you know, brought me over there. So I was trying to learn, and you know, still I'm like 90 pounds.
Yeah.
Short, 5'2", 5'3" at the time, going into ninth grade. And for whatever reason, that happened a couple times. But you know, that's my sister's boyfriend. I don't have a car. How am I going to get back and forth to the gym? So my high school, they had wrestling, I found out, and I was like, oh, cool. You know, I watched Vision Quest growing up. I'm like, oh, you know, I remember Shoot going up the stairs with the big wood thing, and I'm like, and he firemen's carried him at the end, and I'm like, all right, I know I could, you know, learn this art, and I could defend myself. You know, it's another form of some way how to defend myself. That was my mentality going in. So I joined the wrestling team ninth grade, and that was the best I ever did in my life, man. Till this day, just fully got into it, and you know, just kind of got obsessed.
And it taught you discipline, I would assume.
Everything, discipline. It gave me it made me a man. It gave me like, that's never again will somebody, you know, disrespect me, take anything from me. I will, if they do, they're gonna have to fight for hell to do it. I will never like give up. Like my heart just, I'm done. I told myself that. I made a deal with myself and never look back. Even at home, you know, me and my stepfather at the time got into an altercation. I picked him up, double-legged him, put him on his head, broke his arm. That was the last day he even looked at me or touched me.
How old were you in that?
14 years old. 14 years old. So my whole mentality changed. This is, you know, after a couple months, I've been wrestling, and, you know, maybe 15 at the time, my second year wrestling, that happened. But I remember that clear as day. He never touched me again, ever. you know, and, you know, even my mother, like, you know, he wouldn't when I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's one of the decisions I made in my life was to
Wrestle.
wrestle, you know, and again, I was a knucklehead. I still moving forward. I got in trouble again, but I was always able to go back to wrestling. Just that discipline that okay made me feel good, doing something good, you know, competing, and this is all the stuff that if I didn't do right in school or my schoolwork or even in the street, this could be taken away from me.
Yeah.
So it was incredible.
So you were on a pretty good path through high school.
Pretty good path through high school. You know, I was a kid, man. I
Yeah, I
got
mean
in
things
trouble.
happen, but yeah.
You know, I smoked some weed, and yeah, one of my coaches was they were both Terry Hayes and Russ Sullivan, both great coaches, both different styles of dealing with personality, like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my Terry Hayes was like he was the stern coach. Jimmy, he called me Jimmy. Jimmy, if you mess up, you're gonna be off the team type.
Yeah.
Russ was more like, like, what are you doing? You're gonna mess your life up. So it was I needed both.
Yeah.
I needed stern and I needed somebody to like, you know,
Yeah.
because again, I did have a father figure and then it kind of, you know,
Was he involved with you at all after your mom? He split with your mom. Was your
it was shaky, man. And listen, every family goes through dynamics. So,
yeah.
you know, they went through their stuff.
Yeah.
Like nobody's fault. I have a great life. I grew up, you know, I had love as a kid, but yeah, nobody's family is perfect,
Right.
man. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Right.
So they were going through their stuff, and it was, you know, they had their stuff they're going through. So yeah, it affects the kids.
Yeah.
So there was a point I didn't have a father figure at the point,
Yeah.
you know, it's you know, and you know, finding myself trouble and you know, I was a smaller kid, like I said, getting picked on and just learning to navigate through life, like, you know, and your environment. I understand all that, you know. So, but thank God I wrestling. So then I had coaches that kind of believed in me, to mentor me, and kind of gave me like a father figure, you know. And you don't want to let these guys down either. And like I said, I had the two, the stern dad, you know, the more dad, you know,
Compassionate guy.
compassionate.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to think about the bigger picture in life.
Yeah.
This wrestling right here, it could take you to college, and you know, you could maybe go to the Olympics one day. There wasn't MMA around this time,
Right.
so it was like Olympics, and yeah, I mean, you know, they were on me, man. You know, even my coach, compassionate, he was on me, Jimmy. Like, you know, you got to work harder than everybody else because you're a small kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that always stuck with me.
So that's why you were the way you were in there when we trained.
Oh yeah, that's there. You know, nothing's ever given. Working my butt off, and that's it. You know, I'm still that 90-pound kid, trying to, you know, whether I'm thing I do in life.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're done with high school. What happens from that point on?
So high school, okay, and let me go back a little bit because so wrestling again, I love it. I wouldn't change anything about it, especially how it came up. We were cut. This is '90s, so cutting weight. You know, it's a lot of rules in place now that you couldn't do that you can do back then. You know, 10 pounds. So I wrestled 91 pounds, which I was probably closer to 99 pounds in freshman,
Uh-huh.
and then I cut back down to 91 pounds my sophomore year, which I was growing. Right, I was probably walking around 115 pounds.
Wow.
And I kind of was like, yeah, that was hard for me. I was really like, you know, it was hard. So I was trying to keep my weight because I looked at myself like a little guy
Mm-hmm.
and I'm growing. So 11th, I grew and I was, and I tried to cut, I couldn't make 90 pounds, 98 pounds no more, or even 105. I think I wrestled, it was 105 or 112 at the time. And I cut a lot of weight to get down there, but it made me sick. And it, you know, I just, you know, I'm a young kid and I didn't want to do it anymore. I got this singlet. I was so good at wrestling, like a natural, but I got a little singlet. I look like a stick figure in it. I'm like, it's falling off my shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm starting to get muscle, but I'm just a little skinny kid, but I knew I could wrestle my ass off, man.
Yeah.
I was, you know, beating dudes up in wrestling. And, senior year comes around, I get a car, you know, I'm hanging out with the boys. You know, girls are popping up on the radar.
Yeah.
And I grew a little bit, and I was like, cut weight, like I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do with this anyway? You know what I mean? I know guys doing basketball and football, and I'm like wrestling. It's cool, but yeah, I loved it, but I'm just like, you know. And the coach, the head coach, you know, Terry Stern. Okay, I heard you smoking weed, Jimmy. That's what you want to do, okay? And he's the stern guy, and the more compassionate Russ is like, you know, he's trying to see where I'm at, and I'm sneaking out of school because I heard he was like looking for me and trying to catch me come out of class.
Yeah.
And so I'm a two-time, three-time, no, two-time county champion at this time, and state runner-up and all this, and I'm gonna throw it away.
Right.
This is my senior year. I didn't care. And you know, Russ keeps coming around and trying to, hey, just come down and watch practice. Just come down. And I didn't wrestle. The season's going along, and I still didn't wrestle. I'm like, I'm done. I washed my hands with it. You know, I'm done. And he's like, you know, what are you doing, Jimmy? You throwing it away. You're throwing it away. You got scholarships on the line. And I was done. In my mind, I was just like, I'm over this. Like, you know, I'm breaking out acne and ringworm and stuff. I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a kid. So anyway, whatever ended up happening midway through the season, now it's getting down to like the qualifiers to the counties and going upstate. It's mid-season. Something goes off in my head. I'm like, I'm fucking up. I gotta, you know, Russ is on me too. Thankfully for him, I came back with a fire. I was like, let me just go down and talk to him, you know, talk to Hayes, you know, told him my piece. Like, you know, this is what he's like, Jimmy, I'm going to let you come back, but you're not wrestling this next tournament, and you got to show me you really want it. Like a fury, I came back with a vengeance, something to prove, which was incredible for me because I was, you know, catching up to the guys running wind sprints. They call them, you know, we used to run around the hallway upstairs. And, you know, I just gave me that motivation to come back. And, yeah, I did great that season. I won the counties again, state runner-up that year. And it was a true state champion at this time in New York. It was like, now there's like 3 state champions, different divisions,
Yeah.
which I think one state champion,
Sure.
you know, everybody gets a trophy now. Come
Yeah,
on, bro.
yeah.
It's that, you know,
Right.
it's crazy. Anyway, it was true state champion, and I took second. I lost to Terry Showalter, which was like, you know, he was like a 4-year state champion at the time, which it was super close. And took third in the nationals that year. And yeah, it was off to the races. I went to college after that, moving on.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Nassau. Yeah. Me and Baroni.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's where you met Phil?
No, we wrestled together in high school, different teams.
We're talking about Phil Baroni here, MMA fighter.
Yeah. And Phil Baroni, we wrestled different teams, but he was from Massapequa. I was from Freeport. But if you win the Nassau County at the end of the year, you represent the county. And we won it. Both of us won it 3 times. So we were on the county team 3 times together. And then we went to Nassau together. And then we ended up going to Hofstra together. Funny story about, he shot, bro. Forever. I've known this kid since I'm 13 years old. He's been a live wire since day one.
Didn't you get into a fight with him?
Oh, yeah. We could touch that. So anyway, through a funny story in the Nationals, first year I took third. I think I took third in the Nationals for Nassau. The second year, on a fucking motivated, bro. Just like, I'm going to win this. Why? It's because the football team was so good, and they got these big old Super Bowl rings for winning the Nationals, I think, that year. And I was friends with a lot of the football players, and they're like, yo, you know, these are dope. And I was like, I wonder if I win the Nationals, will I get one of these Super Bowl rings? And I talked to the coach. He's like, Jimmy, they haven't had a national champ up until that point, I think, for 20 years at Nassau.
Yeah.
And Nassau's good wrestling. Everybody went there. Weidman, me, man, who's who in UFC from New York, Long Island has went to Nassau Community College.
Okay.
So the big history in wrestling. So I asked the coach, Schmitty. Schmitty's the coach, and they had Hanky there. Hanky's like Mickey from Rocky.
Okay.
That's what me and Phil used to call him. Hey, Mickey. And Schmitty's, you know, great guy too. And I asked Schmitty, hey, will I get one of these rings if I win the Nationals? We'll make that happen. So that was one of my motivations. I got that ring. And funny story about the Nationals. So me and Phil are in the national finals. He's a different weight class from me. We're representing our team.
Yeah.
And I walk out. We was already on our showman shit. I walked out with a cowboy hat to the national finals. I ended up beating my guy. It was a close match, but I think I won by a takedown. And Phil makes a funny story about it. He goes out like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, all scissor in hands. And he comes out, he lost, and he says, I came out crawling out. You came out with your hands raised, and I came crawling off the mat. He's a funny guy, man. Yeah. So I moved over after that. I went to graduated from NASA, which is crazy. I got my associate's degree.
Yeah. In what?
Liberal arts.
Okay.
Meaning you're figuring it out.
Right. Oh yeah.
And went to Hofstra at the time, and they had Tom Ryan there. I watched him in when I was in high school. He wrestled for the Iowa Hawkeyes with the Brands brothers at the time. They were all nasty, and I did well at Hofstra. Did really well, and I was ranked third in the country D1. Supposed to come back in for the next year wrestling. Got popped for smoking weed, and it was a university. It was an isolated thing. It was like not even NCAA. It was the policy of the university at the time. Hofstra saying, if anybody gets popped on drugs, you're out for the season.
How'd you get popped? First off,
well, we had a drug test. And,
piss test,
yeah. And I was drinking the stuff I drank. Everybody on the team was smoking, but I'm the one that I guess drank the little. The drinks that is supposed to clear your urine?
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Well, we
all
work. Alleged. We all heard of them, right?
Yeah.
I drank it, and I don't know what I did. I did it wrong, and I pissed hot. Yeah. I'm never a snitch, bro. They pulled me in like, hey, who else is smoking? I don't know. Just me. The whole team was smoking.
You didn't get you couldn't have denied it and said, give me another one? Didn't work that way back then?
Nah, they just was like, you know what? You have your full scholarship, but you can't wrestle this year. It was like my last year wrestling, and I'm ranked third in the country.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know, for me, it always felt like I had to go through something to get really motivated. Like I was telling myself, oh, if I come back now, I'm winning the nationals. I already put that in my head. So I was like talking to Ryan and the school, they wouldn't budge. They're like, you can't wrestle. And I thought it would be like kind of overturned at some point. Like they'll let me back in. I'm ranked third in the country for Division I in Hofstra University. I'm ranked fucking third. Beat the guy that was ranked first at a tournament the year before. What the fuck, dude? And then now I'm super, like I needed something. I always needed a kick in my butt to get me like, all right, now that's what it is. I'm winning this shit. So that's what I felt. I was like, oh, now I know I'm coming back. I'm winning this. So it was a couple weeks went by, and they didn't budge, man. They're like, you can't wrestle this year. It was my last year wrestling. So I said, I took my sneakers. I had the purple lights at the time, those ASIC purple lights. Threw them in the garbage. I was like, and this is like, I had friends that were going to NBA. I think Speedy Claxton, he went and played in the NBA at the time. He was there at the college. Couple guys going to the NFL. And I'm like, what was I going to do? UFC was there, but it wasn't like where it's at today, And Phil was already kind of getting into
Tough Mans,
and I think he did a couple MMA fights, and he would bring the gloves to practice, and he would have the guys box. Shit was hilarious, but I wasn't drew into that yet. I didn't like, I wasn't like, this is something I want to do.
Yeah.
So, I was like, I resented it. I kind of, swept my whole wrestling under the rug kind of thing. I could compartmentalize stuff, and I was just like, okay, making a right turn now. I'm done, which I did. And, that's when I, started making money doing dumb shit. And that's a time in my life where I was like, okay, kind of resented, all the work I put in, and now for what? Type of my mentality was like, why did I do this? Why did I pick this? Just more, which it did so much for me. It made me a man. It did everything for me. So it was kind of me, like, how do I say my mentality? It was kind of me just trying to say, like, lie to myself, say I did it for nothing, but it did everything for me, kind of thing.
But it's kind of probably hard to see it like that, though, when you're in a lost position.
Yeah, it's like, now what? Like, oh, the Olympics, this and that. I mean, You know, it's like they won't even. I kind of put the blame. This is me being young and immature. I'm putting blame on everything else. Oh, well, they could have let me wrestle. Like, you know, well, I'm the one smoking weed. I'm the one that got popped, right? I never put it like on myself. I kind of just resented everything and put blame on everybody.
Yeah.
And that's was my mentality. So I threw my sneakers away and never even talked about wrestling after that. It was like, you know, my girlfriend at the time didn't even know I wrestled or nothing about that part of me. You know what I mean? It was so crazy. Like I never brought it up.
Yeah.
And so that's when I get into like hustling, trying to make money by all means necessary, doing dumb shit, and time goes on, and
Define dumb shit.
selling drugs,
like what?
which cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah, not good, man.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it's part of my story.
Right. No, that's
Went down the bad road, got myself out of it, and yeah.
How did you get yourself out of it?
I got myself in it. I got arrested, and that's how I got myself at it. I said this, when I got arrested, and they put me in jail, and I'm sitting there waiting to get in. We're in a processing part, and they didn't even give me a mattress, anything, bro. There's shit smeared on the wall, and I'm sitting in there. I'm like, man, this is not for me,
Let's rewind a second. How'd you get caught?
A guy I knew from wrestling from another town set me up.
Wow.
Yep. So it's not even like I knew this guy, it's crazy. He got arrested, and that's what
Snitched
happens.
on you.
This is what happens. So when you play this game and something happens and you're not a strong individual and you try to get yourself out of it and make a deal,
Yep.
quote, pretty much a snitch, you put other people's life, because you don't want to deal with the consequences, right? So why do it? If you're not built for that, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't try to put another man in trouble because you can't deal with the consequences of your actions,
Right.
So this is something every kid should think about. Like, if something happens, if I'm doing something here and it ain't legal and I get in trouble, am I prepared to deal with these consequences?
No, this is a great story.
Because that's what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people don't understand that until the fucking shit hits the fan, and then the boys are across from you, telling you what's gonna happen and what your time you're gonna serve and this and that. And are you ready to deal with that? So that's what I'm telling kids. One thing about me, I never in my mind, even though this guy set me up, would I go back and hurt another person's life, because I know what I chose to do. I know what comes with it.
Yeah.
And I was prepared to deal with it.
Yeah. You owned it. You
I owned it.
Yeah.
I owned it. Not one person could ever say from where my area, from anywhere in this world, that I went and tried to set them up and did this just to get out of my situation.
Right.
That I knew what it was going into it anyway. Like that's the thing people forget.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's a lot of snitches out there now. It's crazy.
So when you got arrested, you get put into jail. How long are you in there for?
So got processed. I'm in there like a week, and this is another thing: a week and a half or two, maybe the most. My mother, God rest her soul, she passed recently, but she put the house up for me to get out.
Holy
so that's
God.
Another thing. First I'm in there and I'm like, man, this lion right here is not meant to be caged. On top of that, I don't make deals. I'm not a snitch. I will never put another man in a position because I got fucked, because I was doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, and I get caught up. So I'm going to put another man in a situation. Like, that's the worst thing. You're a piece of shit, first off.
Right.
So knowing that, my mind, I'm start processing, and I'm just sitting with myself, and that was the best time to think, you know what, I can't do this. So, and then your mother putting the house up for you, like the house she worked for years for, like she has other kids in the house, bro, it makes you feel like a piece of shit, you know. So I was done.
How long were you in there total?
Just a couple weeks. And yeah, now I'm out fighting my case now.
Right.
Now I'm going back and forth to court. So this time I get bailed out. My mom puts up the house. Love her to death. And now I'm out. Now I'm figuring it out. Now everything's hit you because now I'm going back and forth to court. I have court dates, and I'm like, okay. I go to my lawyer. He's telling me this is the charge. This is what carries. My charge carried like 3 to life, I think. But it's my first offense, and I had a really good name in Long Island at the time for the wrestling I did for Nassau. I had a lot of good people that, that I knew.
Yeah.
And it's my first offense. So, and that's made me feel like such a, I had to go to my high school coaches and get letters. I went to my college coaches to get letters, just letters of, character letters,
Right.
just to, give my lawyer and bring to the judge. But how bad, you know what I mean? These are guys that, were like father figures to me.
Yeah.
And, it was just, it was a dark time. But again, where there's dark, there's some light, right?
Yeah.
If you can gravitate towards it,
Right.
you got to do the work to change mentally and just stick to it and be a solid person.
Yeah.
Everything is a solid person, right?
Right.
If you're a solid person, you can change,
Right.
There's people that keep fucking around, going back and forth, and they don't learn. Like, some kids or some people do need a smack in the face. They might not have the guidance coming up, but you go through shit, and that's what makes you who you are. You have to learn from it. You have to learn from it. You only get a couple shots.
Right.
And life ain't that long, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get a couple shots, and you got to stick by them, and you got to be a solid person.
Yeah.
And then you get opportunities if you're a solid person.
Mm-hmm.
So backing up a little bit, I'm fighting the case now. I'm out, right? So now everything's hit me, depression, and okay, I'm going to have to go to jail. So I didn't wrestle for a couple years. Like I said, I kind of swept everything under the rug, and I didn't even talk about that. I'm about money making.
Yeah.
I'm about doing this and thinking on that level. But that time, I'm just stressed out, and I'm like figuring out. I'm done with the game. I'm totally done. I'm like, wash my hands with that. I can't do that. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, Phil was actually training for Matt Lindland at the time, and he's like, yo.
So Phil Baroni's in the UFC at this point.
UFC.
Yeah. On
He's
TV
like,
and
on TV and everything. And I still wasn't like, I seen a couple fights. I saw Robbie Lawler knock out Tiki on fucking pay-per-view. I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Young fucking kid. He was like 20 years old.
Yep.
And I'm like, still I wasn't like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that for me. It was just, it's cool, but not that I'm, I knew I wrestled and I had some boxing, a little bit experience, but I never thought I could transition into that, you know? So I'm going through this. Through this roller coaster in my mind, and dealing with my stuff and my mind frame of, I don't know how me and Phil connected again, but he needed a wrestler for Lindland, so he reached out right around this time.
Man, he's things like, work in mysterious ways, right?
I tell you, bro, it's God shining a light, bro. I swear, I will never say different.
Yeah,
it's God shining a light.
Absolutely.
At this point in my life, I'm down. It was nothing I had motivation for. I'm just thinking about tomorrow, and I fucked up, and just depression and down and dark, and okay, getting ready for jail. So Phil reaches out, and I need a good wrestler to come out, and help me train for Lindland. So my mind frame again goes back to, okay, the little 90-pound kid. I got to get ready for jail. Okay, if I do go to jail, nobody's messing with me. Regardless, I'm gonna be in shape. So I stopped drinking, stopped smoking. I was drinking a lot at the time, boozing and smoking weed and cold turkey, everything. I didn't smoke no more, drinking, out of here. I'm like, all right, get in shape. So Phil brought me to Keith Trimble, Belmore Kickboxing Academy in Belmore. And, start training over there in a little bit, and again, my mind frame, it didn't switch that or click like I could do this. It was just more helping out and sweating.
Yeah.
And time goes by, and all of a sudden I start catching feelings again, these old feelings from wrestling.
Yeah.
Right. And it just started slowly but surely started coming back. And then I feel myself wanting to go every day. And Keith wasn't paying attention to me yet either. He knew I was a wrestler, good wrestler and stuff, but he he didn't, he's kind of like,
Yeah.
a little standoffish, like,
Yeah.
acknowledging me, but not like, hey kid, you want to train? Nothing like that. And I'm just hitting the bag, getting better. They have tapes in the back, like Pride. I remember the Pride and
Japan.
UFC,
Yeah.
Jens Pova, BJ Penn, all this. I'm like, okay. I'm just watching tapes in the back when I'm not training. I go early, an hour early, watching tape. This is stuff I used to do when I wrestled.
Yeah.
So I feel myself just trying to learn like a sponge. And that's how it all started, man. One day Keith's like, man, get in here, let's train. And that was it. Off to the races.
And you took a couple kickboxing fights first.
Yeah,
right?
I have like.
And I only know that because Chris Algieri told me he was at your very first kickboxing fight.
Yeah, I have like, I think 8 or 10 amateur kickboxing fights. Yeah, I took those first because at the time, MMA was still so new. Like, there wasn't many like amateur MMA. Like, I did everything. I was doing Naga, like the jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Oh.
I was doing kickboxing fights. I would do anything just to compete.
What were you doing for money back then? I'm just curious. Like, how did you?
Money at the time was, bro, it was scarce. I had let me go back a little bit. When I did hustle, I made money. So I did have some money left over.
Okay.
That was holding me down. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So my lawyer at the time, I had to give him like $25,000 cash.
Yeah.
Or $30,000 cash just to start the case.
Right.
It dwindled over the year period.
Right.
But I did have a little cash.
So you could train.
Yeah, to train in a little bit. And my girlfriend at the time, she had a job at a law firm. She was a paralegal, so that helped. But yeah, man, money was scarce. For me at the time, it wasn't. I wasn't thinking money. I was thinking, the next day and my court case.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And lose your mind in between time with training. Training gave you a release from thinking about everything else.
It made me feel like that old feelings that I had from competing. Purpose and just the sweat and this is what I should be doing. Like God shined the light on me. Like I swear, that's what I felt like. Yo, this is it. I felt those old feelings come back.
You can't fail when you feel like that, though.
You can't fail, bro.
You cannot fail.
It was amazing, and it was happened at a perfect point in my life. I was, headed down the wrong path, and which I did, but like I said, for me it was just a wake-up call. It wasn't like, again, how I took it, I'm still feel I wouldn't change the way I did it. I'm solid. I got in trouble for what I did. I will do if I get jail time, I'm doing jail time. If whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do, because I know what I did. Cool. I'm not gonna, shit on another man,
right,
because I was involved in something that I already knew what was the consequences. That's just
owned it.
Yeah, I owned it, and that's one thing I could say to this day. I stand on that.
So you go to Belmore Kickboxing Academy. You have a couple amateur kickboxing fights, but your court case is still pending.
Still pending.
How does that play out?
Crazy. Still pending. So I'm dealing with that, but I'm like
you know where you want to go at this point, but you still have to deal with this other shit.
I'm still dealing with that. So, Keith know my situation. Everybody knows my situation. I never, I'm a truthful guy. I'm a real guy. And, so I'm going on. I'm getting fights and I'm winning fights and I'm, turned pro now. And now I'm pro and I'm training with Haji Grogasi. He had a gym in Limbrook at the time. And Keith for the striking, and I'm even going to spar guys in Brooklyn at Gleason's gym at the time. Yeah, I would travel in by train to Gleason's just for some sparring, boxing sparring. Cool. So yeah, it's not like it is now where everything's under one roof. It was still the early days where you had to go here for jiu-jitsu, here for kickboxing, here for boxing, here for wrestling. I was even going to Nassau Community College back there to get good wrestling. Yeah. So it was fun times, though. I mean, those days I missed too, because you travel all around in different gyms. It was cool, and killing it in the game. I already have these feelings like this is what I want to do. Now I know, dude, I'm meant for this. This is I put wrestling with striking and jiu-jitsu and all this together, judo, and it was amazing to me that you could put a sport and put everything mixed in one. Yeah. It was baffling to me. Like, how did I know this earlier? How did I know this sooner? You know, it was one of those things. It was amazing to find it again. And moving forward, court cases coming, and it was funny because I didn't know. Like my lawyer said maybe, because I did the letters. I got the letters from my coaches, my high school coaches, letter of character and all this. And my lawyer's like, well, we're gonna go in today, so we'll see. Hopefully, if it is jail time, maybe it could be, I could be eligible for a shock program, which is another reason why I wanted to get in shape too, because this is a first offense. They at the time, I don't know if they still have it. They call it shock, which is like a boot camp. You go upstate for like 6 to 8 months, 5 a.m. up running. It's like boot camp, which is perfect for me. I'm like, I'm militant at the time. I'm ready. I'm in fight mentality. I'm ready to do something like that just to lessen my time to get back to my career.
Yeah.
And go in and, man, blessing from God, everything worked out. They gave me they gave me 3 years probation. It's a whole nother story I'm gonna get to. They gave me 2 or 3 years probation at the time. And what was it? Maybe 5 years probation. I don't know. It was definitely a couple years probation, where some people say it's worse because now you're on the edge. If you get in trouble, now you go back and you get your full time. But I was so disciplined in my life at this point, and nothing was gonna, get me in any shit. And I was on the straight and narrow, and I was just training. So got the probation, which now I'm all in. Now everything clicked. Okay, cool. Like now I could really
green light.
Green light, baby. Now I could go full force. I don't have anything roadblocking me for 6 to 8 months out of my career.
Yeah.
And
how nervous were you going into that court case?
Bro, yeah, I'm like, okay. I was, I was mentally prepared though.
Yeah.
I don't know nerves. I was just ready to, put it behind me. And okay, if I need to do 6 to 8 months, if I get this shock program, let's go right away. Because it was nothing for me to do. The hard part of it was getting up early, training. It was just the time that sucked, especially at that point in my life, because I wanted every bit of time. I felt like, I'm wasting 6 months here where I could be competing. That's at the time I was trying to fight as much as possible. That could have been 3 fights for me right there. So again, everything worked out, and now full force in the fight career. And so at the time I was like, all right, this is when I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of New York, because I don't want, any distractions, and that's what ultimately made me make the decision to move to Vegas. Plus,
what year is this? 2004. Okay.
Yeah, because this is right when I got the GSP fight. So 04, and I'm just like, I got to get out of here. Yep, I'm on probation still. Which, if you're on probation, you can't just move, right?
Right.
So I just, again, here a crapshoot again. I said, I'll move and then I'll just fly back in to see my PO, which I did do a couple times. But remember, the money's low at the time. Like how I'm gonna book a flight every month to come out, and my ex-wife at the time, she was holding it down at the time for the bills and stuff. She paid. She was working at the casino at the Tangerine nightclub, and that's what paying the bills.
Right.
So that worked out. And
where were you training when you first came out here?
Training with Mark Lehman and One Kick Nick. Yeah. Mark Lehman, One Kick Nick. We had Kendall Grove, Joe Daddy Stevenson, Gray Maynard came around this time. Of course, Phil Baroni, a bunch of guys, man. If I'm missing guys, I know, but it's so long ago now.
And then how do you end up in the UFC and getting the George St. Pierre fight?
Funny story. This is funny. So Phil, of course, at the time was tight with Dana, and he was in the UFC, and we were at the old UFC offices, and Dana had a private gym underneath the gym, like in the basement of the offices, ring and little weight area. So I guess he saw me sparring Phil down there, and he's like, yo, who's this kid? And I give it to Phil at the time. I didn't even have a manager. He was always pumping me up. Like, yo, this is the next thing. This guy's the next man right here. And, of course, Dana seen me. And what happened was Mayhem was showing us too. Or Mayhem trained with us too back then. In Belmore and at Lehman's, actually. Yeah.
Mayhem Miller did?
Mayhem Miller, yeah.
Belmore, too?
Yeah, he came out to Belmore for some camps. Yep. And we trained at Lehman's together, all of us. Yeah, Mayhem, he's one of my first training partners, too.
Wow.
And, Mayhem actually got arrested and he was supposed to fight GSP. Yeah. So this is how green I was at the time. I was thinking it's my fourth fight, but I trained with GSP in New York at Rodrigo Gracie's gym. And you know, all that, oh, this guy's the next biggest thing. He has great wrestling, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh really? Okay, cool. And my mentality, like I said, why I say I was green, because I took everything as like a fight. You know what I mean?
Personal.
Yeah, I took it personal, bro. Like, oh, like I made me believe that you're gonna smack my mother. That's how my emotions were.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, learning and moving forward, and once I got more experienced, I know that I don't fight good this way. And this, you know, you know, you got to learn yourself, right?
Yeah.
Some guys are fueled by emotion, like a Diaz and some guys, and they fight good on it.
Yeah.
Me, absolutely, I fight way better when my energy is not emotional, when I'm just, you know, dialed in. I could feel emotion, but not relying on like anger or anything. I got to be dialed in and sharp. So that's why I know when I was super green then. But anyway, when they told me, oh, this guy GSP, he's fucking the next best thing, I was cool. I want to work out with him. Bro, I'm taking him down at will. I felt like strong kid, super strong. I remember being him so strong, but technically I know I was better, like especially with takedowns and stuff. So moving forward,
I never knew that you trained with GSP.
I trained with him
before you fought him.
Before I fought him.
I never knew that.
And that's why ultimately, like, you know, it probably would have been better if I didn't, just because, you know, I was green and I was like, I'm gonna kill this guy, you know, and bro, obviously not, right?
So was that part of the pitch to get that fight? Like, hey, Jay trained with him before,
sure.
whooped his ass,
great. Again, Phil was like, you know, pumping me up, and I didn't even have a manager at the time. If I could go back, I would tell a young guy, try to be 10-0 before you step up to a big organization, because you can't go backwards. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Once you're in the mix, you know, you're fighting top level guys.
Yeah.
Even the low guy on the roster is a top level guy. So work out your kinks and work them out on the smaller circuit if you can. Don't rush, and you know, because you can't go backwards in a professional career.
Right.
So I got the fight, and you know, my man was sharper that night. You know, he just, you know, I remember him jabbing me up, and I was fucking so emotional trying to just fight him. And, you know, again, I learned from it.
So you get the shot against George St. Pierre in the UFC, the biggest stage. Doesn't go your way, but you learn a lot from that moment.
Learned a lot. I was, you know, overlooking him because I trained with him, and I'm like, I'm going to smash this Canadian French dude. And obviously I got smashed, and I learned from it, you know. And shout out to George. He's a great guy, you know. The GOAT of the welterweight division too.
Right.
And it was a great learning experience, because now I'm dealing with my first loss. And okay, now I gotta rebuild and work back up, and you know, because I had all this momentum. And I'm like, all right, you know, maybe I need a manager now, and you know, work on things in training. And maybe, you know, I was still, I wouldn't say I went away from my emotions in fighting yet, but I was kind of like, you know, this might not be, maybe there's a different mentality I should fight on.
Yeah.
Kind of. That was when the first started thinking about that. And but it was hard to get another fight after that. It took me maybe 8 months, 9 months to get another fight. I think I fought WEC after that, because I just fought a UFC in the UFC, and now I'm back in the smaller circuit, but I think I was 4 or 5-1 then.
Yeah.
And it was just, I remember guys were turning me down, and I was like,
and there weren't shows every weekend back then.
There wasn't shows every weekend, and you know, it was just harder to get a fight then.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking for management, and you know, I kind of had Layman trying to find me fights, and I'm just like, you know, I'm back to square one at that point. And you know, but again, I never was, you know, I never didn't think it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought, like, I moved from New York to Vegas on a fight dream,
right?
Which is kind of crazy, man.
No shit.
It's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never didn't think I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I just was full speed ahead.
Right. How did you become a member of Extreme Couture? How did you get affiliated with Randy and everybody here? How'd that happen?
So they started. So the first Tough show So the first Tough Show, another thing in my life, in my career that follows me.
That's the Ultimate Fighter reality show, right?
So the first Tough Show, they were doing casting. This is after my GSP fight, and I'm still on. Me and Dana are still cool.
Yeah.
And he feels he'll give me another shot. I felt like I could get another shot. I was just trying to look for another win before I get back in, because he knew my skills. So they started the casting of the first Tough Show, and bro, I was in the running for that, and I was ready to go on the show, and all of a sudden, I think a couple of days before, they're like, Jay, I'm so sorry, but you can't have a felony.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, on my case, going back, I don't know if I said that, they gave me a felony. I got a felony for my charge.
Okay. And then.
So, on the first Tough Shows, I don't know, for 2, 3, 4, 5, they finally went away with it. But the first few, it was brand new.
Man,
it was on Spike TV. And I didn't get on the first Tough Show because of my felony. So I'm just like, bro, really? Like, this is my shot. Kind of went down a little, I wouldn't say depression, because I already went through something so traumatic, and I changed my life again, and I was blessed. But it was, it definitely made me feel, it's like shit, bro. I'm like, oh man, I was in, dude.
Yeah.
And then to see how successful it got, and you know what I mean, I'm just like, bro.
But that's a good lesson too for people that do make the importance of not making a mistake like you did, how that can come back and haunt you.
It came back and haunted me a couple times. So, where was I with that?
Didn't get on the Tough Show because of the
didn't
felony,
get on the Tough Show.
Trying to get back in the UFC.
Getting fights, finally fights start rolling in. I'm winning fights. Went to Hawaii. They flew me out to Hawaii to fight a show called Lockdown of Paradise. My first time in Hawaii, which was great. A belt on the line. I fought Ronald Jun.
Oh yeah,
a nice big time vet back then.
Yeah,
he's fought everybody at that point. I beat him, and I won a belt, which was great, which is cool. And still doing like jiu-jitsu tournaments, just trying to make money.
Yeah.
Like Layman was set up super fight jiu-jitsu matches. $1,000. Hell yeah, I'll do it. Doing stuff like that. And I remember feeling, that was holding me onto me. It was like, man, I should have been in the Tough Show. And I was like, whatever, that's not your path. Finally coming to the terms like, man, I gotta stop worrying about shit, because this will hold you back in life.
Yeah.
Like, I should have got this opportunity, this should have happened, and that's just stuff that's out of your control.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I go by this even till this day now. What's meant for you won't miss you. So I kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on me, do the work, and let the chips fall where they're going to fall. If I work hard enough, an opportunity will present itself, and I'll be ready for it. And so when they started the Tough Show, they had a private gym that they were doing the Tough filming at, and Randy Couture and I think Chuck were the first coaches, I believe. And Randy would train there on the side, and bring training partners in, or like let guys come in that were training for fights, and I think Mike Pyle was training with him. I forget who invited me, but I came down, and Randy's a guy of not so many words, which we all know. He's great, and just kept saying, come back tomorrow, we're gonna train at 4. So I ended up getting great training, and I looked up at the Randy at the point. He was a world champion, 6-time world champion, and seen all big fights. Randy, Tito Ortiz, even the old school fights. Vanderlei Silva. It was just, I came up watching him, so it was kind of like, oh man, I'm training with Randy Couture type of thing, and he's asking me to come back again tomorrow, and we're training this time. Forrest Griffin was there. Gray. Tyson came at some point.
Tyson Griffin.
Mike Pyle. So at that point, Randy told us he was gonna open up a gym here because he moved to Vegas. And man, I was like, cool. I'm going where you go, boss.
Yeah.
Where you go, I go, boss. Let me know.
He was wearing the gold belt, so you figured that would be good.
I'm like, this is where I want to be. Yeah. So I'm going to follow the routine and the training regimen. And this is when, people were training hours and hours a day,
Yes.
right? You were training 2 sessions, 2.5 hour, 3 hour sessions hard.
Yeah.
No weight class sparring, just get in there and bang, and it was fun. It was good times.
So you, I mean, one of the first members of this gym as a fighter.
My saying is this: I laid
still
tile
train here.
I laid tile in this bitch.
Right, Gil Gardado told me to ask you exactly how many tiles did you lay in this bitch. That's
a few, but a lot with these though. You know what I mean? A lot with these too. You know, I wore that. I still wear it. Pride on my chest or my shorts. Extreme Couture. I know I was one of the first guys here.
Absolutely.
One of the first guys of the team. Still here to this day.
Yep.
I'm a loyal guy. I feel like, you know, this is a part of me. A lot of stories here. Shed a lot of blood with that team on my shorts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I feel...
And honestly, in my opinion, that was a golden era of MMA, that 07, 08, 09, 10. Like, those were some awesome years.
Because it wasn't, like, so in your face. You know, you got excited to watch it. It would be on... Big fight would be on once a month, whether it be K1 at the time was popping, Pride or UFC, and you would get excited for the big fight that's coming up, where now it's every weekend. You can't keep track. Yeah, you can't keep track.
Watered out.
Very incredible time. Right after the first Tough exploded, so people were intrigued.
Yeah.
In Vegas, we were like the superstars.
I remember.
UFC fighters.
Yeah.
It was like, there was no NFL here, no Raiders. There was none of that. It was the UFC guys are here.
Yep.
Open up the red rope. Let them guys in. What table you guys want?
Any club, any time. Nobody paid for anything.
That was awesome.
Good. I mean, I just ran off your guys' coattails a lot.
Yeah. Nah, you were part of the team, bro. You trained us.
In there, and we didn't pay for anything. It was great. But
time.
That was a golden era. You never knew who was going to walk through the door on any given day here. People from all over the world literally came here to train. Fans from all over the world literally came here to see who was here.
Who's who in the sport. We've had everybody in this gym training. Chuck Liddell, Vitor Belfort, Vanderlei Silva, Gilbert. I mean, I could go down the list. K1, UFC, anybody's who's who that's been to this gym and trained here, which is incredible.
I was talking to Ryan Couture recently, and I was telling him, because I grew up a huge boxing fan.
Yeah.
And
I remember you. Yeah. We go over all those boxing fights.
Yeah. And I was telling him, I was like, man, like growing up, you hear about, like you mentioned, Gleason's. Like, that lit me up. I was like, man, I wish I could have seen the old Gleason's.
Yeah.
I never did. But like Gleason's, you had Fifth Street Gym in Miami, you had Kronk Gym in Detroit.
Yeah.
None of those originals exist anymore. They're all gone.
Yeah.
You know, they've been replicated, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the same. But Extreme Couture is that for MMA. It's been here for almost 20 years.
Yes.
And the history that's happened under this roof, I'll put that against any other facility that's live and going right now.
A lot of world champions, a lot of fighters. Who's been here, came through here, trained here, showed their presence here. When there's big fights in town, people come here, like you said, fans, you know, they'll just come here to get a glimpse.
Yes.
It's a lot of history. It's great to be a part of. Incredible times here, man.
And then, so you ended up finishing out again with the UFC in 2013.
Yeah, moving forward, my last fight was, I signed my last contract with UFC. I was coming off of, who did I fight before UFC? Maybe Bellator, yeah.
Bellator, you fought the tournament. You fought Ben Askren.
I fought Ben Askren, and I think after that, got back with UFC. I signed a shit deal, but I believed in myself. So I was gonna fight out these 3 fights and then get on a better contract, get in better position for better fights that moved me up the ladder, and that was my game plan, which didn't go that way. Lost to Woodley my last fight. I get knocked out. I looked at my check in the back, and I'm like, this. I don't know. This ain't it. So moving back a little bit, Randy at the time, we got to gym.
Yeah.
I'm part of the team. Now I'm fighting. I'm doing well. Fliction, Bellator.
That's right when I met you.
Right when you met me. But Randy at the time was always doing acting on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, I look up to Randy and see what he's doing. And he introduced me to a guy in New York, Johnny C. and Doug Crosby. They're stunt coordinators, and that's when I was like, I'll get in the business, and I kind of was, doing it on the side while I was still fighting. Again, it goes back to like when I started fighting. Did I see myself transitioning into being an actor stuntman? No. But it was something I enjoyed on the side, and it was like, it's interesting. I'll try it, you know,
Yeah.
because there's fight scenes, and I grew up loving movies, and like I said, loving action movies, Mad Max, you know, even moving forward from Gladiator, that was
Yeah.
a great movie, and
Yeah.
you know, I loved action movies. But did I see myself as an actor or, you know, no. I was just like, I'll try it on the side. So it kind of like another shine of light, I guess,
Yeah.
what you say, another moment. And
The path was laid out,
the
man.
path's laid out, man. You just got to follow it.
Yeah.
Straight up. You get opportunities in life. It's your job to be ready for them.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Not knowing what them, but kind of, you know, just being mentally and physically ready for opportunities.
Yeah.
You gotta be a solid person too, right?
Right.
You gotta be a solid person.
Right.
So I'm in the business for a couple years before my last fight on the, you know, doing on the side. But after that last fight, I was just sitting with myself and I'm just like, you know, to work my way back up into even just a money position, better
Yeah.
money position, or even just to get my name back in the mix to get bigger fights is gonna be, you know, I just, you know, again, I never wanted to have the game retire me. I always wanted to retire from fighting, so that was always in my head. You know, when they asked me about, oh, how long can you fight for? I don't know. I'm gonna do it till I feel it. And it wasn't the competition. It was just everything else involved with it that I just didn't want to go through again.
Yeah.
You know, working my way back up, fucking just dealing with the shit part of it. I love to train. Still to this day, I love to train.
Yeah.
The fight part of it, I love to fight. But also, you got to be realistic. You can't take damage for nothing, for no money.
Right.
You know?
So at that point in your career, your MMA career, you had the stunt and acting kind of in your back pocket as something that you were going to kind of maybe roll into. Were you thinking that? Like,
I thought that, you know, it's again, it's one of those things. I'm going to move across the country to be a professional fighter.
Right.
You know, okay, now I'm going to be an actor and stuntman in the films.
Right.
Like, these are crazy fucking dreams,
Yeah.
bro. These are fucking things you say to somebody. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, even going back to my first professional fight, I had to sell the tickets. And how I sold them, this is early MMA, fucking, you know, mid-2000s, early before the Tough Show. And before I got in UFC. And I'm like telling guys, hey, I'm going to fight. Come buy a ticket. You know, I'm trying to sell the tickets. And how I would sell the tickets, I would take the MMA glove, put them on, and let them put them on. And they're like, you fighting in weightlifting gloves? Like, people didn't even know what an MMA glove was. They're like, no way, you're fighting in this? You're crazy. Give me a ticket.
That's smart.
Yeah, so I sold the tickets that way. I would let people try the glove on and like, I'm gonna go to war with these. Come check me out. So yeah, it's just crazy stuff to tell somebody I'm gonna move across country to fight, or now I'm gonna go in the film business and be an actor, a stuntman, anything to do with the film business. I'm retiring from fighting. I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how my brain works.
Yeah. What was one of the first big roles you got where it was like, holy cow, this is serious business now? Because you were on one of the shows that was on regular, like a major cable network. I remember in like 2013-ish, 14-ish. I was in Florida sitting on my couch, randomly flipping through, and there's Jay.
Yeah.
And I think I texted you saying I just saw you on TV, and that's a really weird experience because when you train a fighter, you know they're going to be on TV that day. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, just pop
But when
up.
you randomly see somebody that you know on a TV show, the brain doesn't know how to.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The first thing, probably one of the bigger ones I've done was Equalizer. That was cool because it was in a scene with Denzel Washington.
Well, I was definitely going to touch on that one.
That was awesome experience. You know, just being in that tight space with him. You know, I could watch him and see what he's doing and how he prepares and all that was awesome.
Were you nervous at all going into that?
Even like fights, like I guess it's nervous energy, more anxious, just to I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like nervous. I mean, like nervous where I can't.
I mean, you've been through a lot of shit. I don't know if you get nervous really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm human, of course. Yeah. Like I get like it's an energy where more anxious, so I guess it's nervous.
Yeah.
Because I get like I'm ready, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I show up on time, I'm ready to go. Like I could be first up and like, okay, I'm ready. So that readiness, I guess, is like a nervous energy just to be anxious to go.
Yeah.
To go. Okay, let's shoot.
Yeah.
Or even for the fight, I'm warming up early because I'm ready. You know what I mean? But not to like when the lights on. I always say this: when the lights on, I could perform. I feel like, it doesn't shell me up.
Right.
Like a big fight or a scene, anything to do with that, I feel like I could, you know, I could shine pretty much.
But our generation, growing up, Denzel Washington's a pretty big deal on the big
bro.
screen, right?
Man,
so
I remember watching Training Day back in the, you know what I mean? Before I was even
he's
fighting.
had so many awesome roles.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So
yeah.
that had to have been a really cool experience.
Super cool, because even before that, they said, you know, hey Jay, you know, he's a little methody, so, you know, okay, well, I'm not gonna bother him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I read the room good.
Right.
That's why I'm doing good in the business, because I know how to read the room.
Yeah.
I give, you know, I feel your energy, or I take what you give me. If you want to talk, cool. If not, cool. There's processes,
Right.
like, you know. So I respect acting because, or film, because they have different processes, and, you know, if they're doing a fight scene, or if they have a big dialogue scene, monologue or something, they're getting preparing. Everybody prepares different.
Yeah.
And the great ones, they have a way to prepare why it looks so good. So I respect that.
Yeah.
So again, you know, if he wanted to talk to me or not, I'm cool. I'm in a car with Denzel Washington. Yeah. So but yeah, so the way he really started respecting me was, we started the fight scene, and he actually they were changing up the fight a little bit, because he's driving and it didn't make sense, like him doing something so technical while he's driving. So they came up with just keep throwing elbows, right? And I was like, yeah. I never, and I know how to navigate through the business. If they have a fight coordinator there, I'm not going to step in for the fight coordinator, even though I'm probably the professional fighter and I'm in the scene. It does. That's your job.
You know your lane.
I know my lane. I'm here in the scene. I'm playing an assassin. This is my job.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to do that? And there's probably a reason why. Because it's probably in the script that he's doing the elbow or whatever.
Yeah.
Not saying that particular thing, but 9 times out of 10, you know, oh, he has a cut on his on this finger, so he has to throw with this finger, even though it looks weird. But in the previous scene, maybe there's something wrong with this hand.
Got it.
While it would make more sense to throw a jab, but no, he's throwing like some type of weird punch. Mm-hmm. So I know all this. I that's why, you know, the business is the business, right? Yeah. So, why I said you know, I'm letting the fight coordinator deal with him, but I did add, just keep throwing him like that. That looks good. Normally I don't, you know what I mean? And that's all I said. I was like, yeah, it'll look better if you just keep throwing elbows. So the next take was you know, we driving, and he starts throwing the elbows, and he keeps throwing them. Boom, boom. He caught me in my nose with one. Boom, and he keeps going. You know, he don't stop. And then after the take, he's like, "Yo, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Throw him just like that. Let's go." And then after that,
respect earned.
He loved.
Do you know who you were though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be in that position if if I wasn't a fighter and I know how to act. I would not even be in that, because time is money, dude. Like. Yeah. You know, you come in and you're stuttering and you don't know how to do the choreo. You know, that's millions of dollars. Like, we did that on a practical street in Boston. They had to lock up the street, and it was, a lot of money spent.
Right.
You know, a pod car, like 4 different cars, like stuntman on the top driving it when the cameras are in the front of the car to make it look like we're driving, but you can't drive with a big camera there. So it's a person on top of the car driving it. It's like a fucking go-kart.
Wow. With
the real car, and we're in the car like he's driving, and we're really doing it on the streets of Boston. So, again, I wouldn't be in that position if I didn't have, experience.
Right.
So it worked out. But again, that's a big, position to be in with Denzel Washington. People get
fair to say that was a wow moment for you too. Do you ever like self-reflect going into a moment like that, being like, holy cow, I can't believe that everything's led to this right now. I'm about to do this.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of times.
Are you like present like that? Were you?
I would say more I'm ready to perform. It hits me later.
Afterward?
I don't really get like caught up in it because I got a job to do. So I feel those feelings like, oh, this is cool.
But then it's like time to go.
Yeah, I'm not marinating on it like, then, you know what I mean? I'm just cool,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Like, it's let's make it good, type of thing.
Well, like we said earlier in this podcast, we got to talk a little bit about strength and conditioning here. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yes, sir.
Not as cool as that, but
Oh man,
um,
I've won championships with you, brother.
yes. 2007, when I first came here, you were one of the core members of the team, obviously, like we talked about. And you were one of the few guys that was a year-round athlete for me.
Hmm.
You know, some guys were just here for training camp and they would bounce.
Yeah.
So the approach is totally different when you have somebody for 6 to 8 weeks or if you have them year-round.
Yeah.
And my focus with you is always get physically stronger. When we were out of camp, I mean, we picked up heavy weights, we
Sure.
pushed, we pulled, we carried. Um, and the idea was to keep your body as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
And by looking at you today, compared to other guys, man, you look good. Are you still you're still putting in the work?
Playing fight characters.
Yeah, you can't.
I had to get in shape again for Roadhouse too, so I had to look from the first one. Like in that one, I was in tremendous shape. I got in like, you know,
Yeah.
fight shape, so I had to redo that again. This is like I've been wrapped like a month ago. I think I go back in a week. So, but yeah, I'm still. You know, I have something to goal to get in shape for. Even if I didn't have
You'd
film
be
business,
working out. It's
I'd
your
be
life.
working out. It's my
Yeah.
life, bro. It's something that saved me.
Yeah.
And it gives me, you know, it gives me, you know, release. I have a way to release whatever's going on in my life. You know, if I'm, you know, in a bad mood, if I'm stressed out, I come to the gym and I release and I'm a new man. So
Sure, I can relate.
I wish a lot of people would find that.
Exactly. I can relate. Mentally, it does more for me mentally than it does physically.
Yeah.
Training does.
Yeah.
I always liked being in camp with you because you were one of the guys that obviously you were always a consummate professional.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know why more so. I knew a little bit, but
Yeah.
it kind of makes a lot more sense of how dialed in you were.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time for laughing and joking, which we all did plenty of
Yeah.
around here, but when it was time to train, it was time to train.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
the conditioning phases were fun with you because you came in like motivated.
Yeah.
You knew I was going to put you through hell
Yeah.
in those sessions. There's actually an old video on YouTube of one of our.
Oh, really?
I just found it.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
shit.
even know it was
I
still
gotta
on
see it,
there.
bro.
One of our cardio
Wow.
workouts. But I remember you like talking shit afterwards. Like nobody outworks me. No one outworks the horse.
Yeah, man.
Talk shit to anybody that was around.
Oh man, bro, I was mentally in right there. You know, when I was competing, there's not a fight. I could say this. I stand on the fight career too. Win, lose, or draw. Never tapped. Never gave up one fight.
Yeah.
Never. If you took me down, you earned it. I never gave up a position. If you knocked me out, you were the better man that night. But I never quit in any fight, and I know I could stand on that, and I'm content.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a great career, but now what you're doing is incredibly impressive as well.
Yeah. And I would say, just to add to that, this business I feel is harder than the fight business, because in the fight business, if I equate film to fighting, even though it's crazy to compare,
Yeah.
and say film is harder, but if I equate it to fighting, there's no knockouts. Everything's up to the judges in the film. Like it's always up to somebody's decision.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like there's no knockout. You could go in and knock out an audition, be the perfect person for the part. You feel you're the perfect person. You could feel, but it's always up to the judges. It's always up to somebody's decision. So in my opinion, it's harder than fighting, because if you go keep knocking guys out, there's a day they're gonna have to give you the shot.
Yeah.
Or you got to knock a guy out. And that sounds so crazy to say fighting is easier than film. They're both very, very hard jobs.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Would you say that your biggest role to date has been the Roadhouse flick?
Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah.
Especially the next one coming up. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I can't really talk too much
Right.
the story, but yeah, I'm reprising my role from the original, which was, you know, it was more of a backstory and flashbacks than original. So this one moving forward is, you know, it should be good.
Well, I look forward to watching it. And like I said before, I've been looking forward to talking with you to hear this story. And I
Yeah,
think
man.
there's a lot of good takeaways people can
Sure, man.
gather from your journey and the lessons that you just spit out on this camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's all facts and it's all, you know, just be who you are.
You've been down here,
Yeah, man.
you've been up, you've been down, and you keep.
My life isn't perfect, just like a lot of people's. But
Yeah.
you know, be a solid person first and foremost. Be
Yeah.
solid. You know, you know, do the right thing. You know, everybody needs a wake up call sometimes, or a smack in the face, or you know, to go through something which you can't count somebody out just for going through something in life, one thing, but character's everything. If that person is solid and they are truthful, then you could believe in that person, right? If they tell you, listen, I'm done, I'm gonna do this, I promise you, and they're a solid person, that's what I'm telling you. Be a solid person. And people are forgiving, right? You get you don't get too many shots in life, but you can't just write a person off for something they've been through if they're solid. There's a lot of people that aren't too. We could go on the flip side of the coin that people just keep getting the shit over and over and over again, and we know these people, right? But there is certain people that they go through stuff. They're deep down a good person, and they just might have to, see the light. Right?
Like you, and you made a change. You made a decision.
Change, and I'm solid. I'm very big on my word, and I'm a loyal person.
Absolutely.
But if I tell you something, I'm gonna try to make it happen. If not, die trying to make it happen. If I tell somebody something that I will do this, believe me, I'm gonna try to make it happen.
I know that, and that's why I respect the hell out of you. And I really appreciate your time today, and I can't wait for others to hear your story. It was awesome. Thanks for sharing it. I appreciate it.